Welcome back to a new episode of the Leading Yourself podcast. Today, I want to talk to you about embracing growth in the final stretch of the year. The year may be winding down, but our potential for growth is unwavering. In this episode, we'll explore practical and actionable steps to make the most out of the last 45 days of this year to set the stage for a transformative year ahead. Welcome to the Leading Yourself podcast. This is your host, Carolina de Arriba. I'm an HR professional, health and fitness coach, wife, mom, and above all things, a goal-getter. In this podcast, we're going to be digging into all things leadership, professional and career development, habits, and relationships. This is a podcast for those who want to become the best version of themselves. Those who have big dreams and are willing to embrace the journey and put in the work to achieve them. My goal is to share with you the tools, tips, and tricks to help you in your journey. So let's dig into today's episode. For many people, this is the time of the year that they disengage completely with their goals and with everything, really. It feels like there's so little time left that it's not worth the effort. And a lot of people put aside everything to start over or pick it up again in January. And personal growth is one of those things. I feel personal growth is one of the things that people don't think about in this time of the year. And I personally believe that this is probably a prime time in the year, the very last stretch towards the end of the year for personal growth and for setting ourselves for a successful year ahead, for a fulfilling year ahead, to set the stage for however we want next year to unfold for us. Because I use this analogy all the time, but if you stop growing, if you stop investing in your personal growth, and then come January 1st, you want to make out of the year the best year, it's going to take some time to get traction, and it's going to get some time to just think through and plan for the new year. So that's why I believe that these very last stretch of the year is prime time for personal growth. The first way that you can leverage this very last stretch of the year to fuel your personal growth and set yourself for a successful year ahead is to take a moment to look back, to reflect on the experiences and the challenge and the wins of the past year. What have you learned? How have you evolved and grown? Reflecting on your own journey provides you more clarity on how to move forward. And a lot of times we face a lot of different experiences throughout the year. And because we go through them so quickly, we don't make the space to reflect on what were the lessons that we learned through those experiences. So, a lot of times, what I'm trying to say is that you have grown and you have learned, but you haven't realized how much you have grown or how much you've learned. And doing this exercise at the end of the year of reflecting back and asking yourself some questions can be very powerful. One, to leave you feeling that the year that you're leaving behind was a great year, full of growth and positive things, even if there were challenges and setbacks in the midst of all of it. But also, it helps you to create more self awareness and develop that clarity I was talking about that you need to decide how to move forward. Now, the next step after that, and before we move out of this first way of growing, I really recommend you to listen to the last podcast episode that I did last week where I shared my own personal reflection exercise at the end of the year. I took almost a day off to invest time in doing this reflection, this looking back and looking forward, which is my next point on how you can leverage this last stretch of the year for your own growth. And that is by setting clear intentions. With the lessons of the past in mind, you now are in a better position to set clear intentions for one, the remaining of the year, but also into the new year. What aspects of your life do you want to nurture and grow? Where where are the areas that you want to learn more about? What are the areas of your life, whether are your relationships, your career, your health, your personal development, that you want to focus on in the next year? And going through this reflection to crystallize, what are your aspirations? What are the things that you want to focus on in the new year? That is going to set a foundation for your growth into the new year. And now, with that clarity already there before even the year starts, you have so much momentum to get started with the year. I always say there is nothing magic in January 1st unless you give that day that meaning. But you could give any day of the year the same meaning that we typically give to January 1st. But if you now have all this clarity and you go into the new year, right, with that clarity, you can ride that wave of motivation in ways that other people can't because you have the clarity. So you can leverage the energy and the motivation to realize that vision that you have for yourself instead of using that energy to come up with the vision. I don't know if that makes sense, but for me, I love this time of the year because it's the time of the year that I get to dream awake, that I get to work on my vision board, that I get to plan ahead. And I love to do those things. And I love to see what it's possible in the year that it's about to start. And that gives me a lot of inspiration. And the clarity also gives me direction on how I can be more intentional in the coming year. The other thing that you can do to embrace growth in this final stretch of the year is to start creating a growth calendar. You know, in the hustle and bustle of life, it's easy to lose sight of our goals. So, creating a growth calendar, first of all, for the next 45 days in the year, or how many days are left by the time that you listen to this episode, and is scheduling intentional moments for that self reflection that we were talking about, but also for learning and for activities that align with our aspirations, can be a great way to lean into and embrace growth in this last stretch of the year. And then even you can think about creating a growth calendar for next year. As you're planning your year, starting to block time in your calendar now that there is time available in your calendar to intentionally invest time in your personal growth in 2024. You know, when I am planning my year, I like to take time about this time of the year, at the end of the year, to plan my year ahead. And I start to plan what would think about all the recurring meetings, like one-on-ones with people in my team or with stakeholders at work. But I also add in my calendar special events, my vacations, and my growth time, because I know that once the year starts, it's going to be really, really hard to find time for personal growth. But now that I have a blank slate, I can create the time. I can make the time in my calendar. and be intentional and purposeful as I plan my time in advance on when I'm going to be spending time and investing time in my own personal growth. And that can look in many different ways, right? It could be looking at a training that you want to attend and putting it on the calendar. It could be setting time every week, 30 minutes to reflect on your week or to plan your week. It could be attending a conference, putting that on your calendar. Or I'm going to share with you something really, really exciting. Since 2021, I have been using this platform called Growth Day. And I haven't seen anything like it. I started to use it over the pandemic. I think I was one of the first people that joined the platform when it was launched. But it's a very unique platform. And I've been using it since. And what I like is like it's like the one-stop shop for personal growth. So every day there is an audio, like a podcast episode from Brandon Burchard, who is the creator, the founder of Growth Day. And it's one of the thought leaders that I have been following for many years now. I have read many of his books and have hear him speak. And of course, every day I listen an audio from Brandon in the morning. And that's part of my morning routine. And they tend to be short, like 15 minutes. So they're perfect. I can listen to them while I'm on the treadmill or while I'm having my coffee. And I really like um, starting my day with something that is inspiring. But then also, every week, there are these amazing speakers, thought leaders that come and host sessions, like a group coaching session inside the platform. I'm talking people like Brandon himself, but Ed Milet, which is super inspiring to me, Trent Shelton, Mel Robbins, Jamie Kern Lima, Lori Harder, Lisa Bilyeu, Anthony Trucks, Jana Kutcher, um who else, there's many others in there that every week they host like group mentoring sessions, and every month there is a theme of the month, and all of them approach that theme, that topic, from their own perspective, and they give you tools that you can use that can help you in growing in that area. Things like mindset and habits and relationships. I think the upcoming topic of self esteem, confidence, all these topics that all of us are constantly working on, continue to become better at. And then the other thing that I love is that every week and every month, it has kind of a self assessment that you can do. And it helps you identify where are some opportunities where you can continue to focus on your growth. And even based on your scores, will recommend certain courses inside the platform or sessions inside the platform that can help you in that area of your life. And all of these questions and all of these assessments are not random. They're based on a lot of research that Brandon himself has done through his career. One of his books that I like the most is High Performance Habits, and it's one of the largest studies around this topic in the world. He interviewed a lot of very successful people and did surveys all around the world to come up with these high performance habits. And in the app, in the Growth Day platform or app, because you can download it as an app on your phone as well as entering on your computer, he has this life assessments and habit trackers that help you score and improve the most important areas of your life. And then you get, as I said, this custom video recommendations to improve in every one of those areas, all backed up by all this research that he's been doing over the years. And you can score your habits every day, every week. or every month. And depending how much you want to focus on your growth and your self mastery, you can decide how often you want to do those. I personally do them all, the weekly, the monthly, all of them, and the daily, because it takes only like 2 minutes. And it's so insightful. Even without the recommendations, just me going through the evaluation, right? It makes me realize that what are the areas that I'm falling short? What are the areas that I'm doing really good? That a lot of times, if I wouldn't do those assessments inside the app, I would not know, I would not be aware of. So it really helps me increase my own self awareness and helps me be even more intentional with my personal growth. Another cool feature of Growth Day is the mindset journal. It helps you develop self awareness and positivity, confidence, and gratitude. They are over 100 research backed prompts that you can do either in the morning or the evening or as part of your weekly reflection that will help you like think through different things that typically you wouldn't. And I have been a lot into journaling. And one of the biggest problems when journaling, or the biggest hurdles of, and the biggest reason why people give up on journaling, is they don't know what to write about. And that has been me many times. I don't know what to write about. I don't want it to be like a diary, like the journal that you had when I was a teenager, right? It's different as an adult. And a lot of times I sit down with a blank sheet of paper and I don't know what to write about. So, what I love about the mindset journal inside Growth Day is that it gives you those prompts. And those are not random prompts, again, but everything inside this platform has been research backed. And there is intentionality behind these questions to help you in your own growth journey. Another thing that you can do inside this platform is setting goals for yourself and having all of them in one place, which helps you stay focused and be more productive with ease, that you're making progress towards those goals, because it even gives you the opportunity to break it down into tasks, to create checklists, to set reminders so you can stay on track with that. And they're all in one system, right? And I'm going into this platform every day for my daily fire, which is that like kind of podcast episode. And I'm going in to checking on my habits, and then my goals are there. And it serves as a reminder. It puts my goals top of mind throughout the year. And what I'm super excited about is that now Growth Day has an opportunity for people to create their own growth groups. I am such a fan of creating community and connecting with like minded individuals in any area that I'm focusing on. And personal growth, if you haven't noticed, is one of my passions and obsessions in the most positive and productive way. And I'm super excited that I'm partnering with Growth Day to host growth groups in 2024 inside their platform. So not only you get access to all the amazing features of Growth Day, but then you get to join me and other people like us that are in this journey of personal growth, so we can connect every month and grow together and discuss topics together. So if you like this podcast, if you find it inspiring, imagine doing this live in person, or maybe virtually, most likely over a Zoom call or a Teams call, and be together in a room discussing these topics and having a conversation in a way that is private, that creates that emotional safety. Because as I was sharing on the 6 a.m. episode this past weekend, there is such power on community, on coming together and talking about our challenges and our setbacks and the things that are holding us back, but also celebrating our wins. And when you surround yourself with like-minded people that are in the same path as you, in a similar journey as you now create the environment, the prime environment for you to thrive in that area, to stay consistent, to develop habits. We've talked about how powerful that environment is in achieving goals and developing habits. So I'm super excited because I am eager to connect with you inside the platform and to learn together and to grow together in 2024. And when we talk about being intentional about our growth and putting together a calendar, that it's all done for you inside the platform. Because every week there's this sessions and you can block your calendar for the time the sessions are happening. And if you miss one, there is a replay. So it makes it so much easier to be intentional. It puts everything in one place: the self reflection, the assessments, the journaling, the coaching sessions, the learning, but also the community, the ability to connect with others and learn together. And I'm super excited to have an opportunity now to partner with Growth Day to host growth groups inside the platform. And I want to invite you to join us in 2024. I always say there is no better investment than the one that you make in yourself. And I think this is a great gift to give to yourself. So I'm going to put a link, actually, a couple of links on the show notes of this podcast episode, because as a result of this partnership, if you join using one of the links on the show notes, you're going to get a few bonuses that you wouldn't if you don't use that link. And I'm super excited about those bonuses. So one of them is a $300 course or training on high performance habits that will be automatically unlocked when you join. And this is inspire on that book that I mentioned. That, by the way, I'll put the link to the book as well on the show notes if you're interested in grabbing the book, The High Performance Habits. And the second bonus is that you're going to get a free ticket to a Growth Day live event. So once a year, Brandon Burchard hosts this like conference, right? When I say live event, like think about a personal growth conference. And the ticket, I mean, there's different prices, but I think the cheapest one is like $100 all the way to $1,000 or even more. I don't know really. But you get a ticket completely free when you join using the link on the show notes of this podcast episode. And then you and I will be connected inside the platform, and we can be together in these growth groups that I'm going to be hosting in 2024. When I say I was doing all this self reflection that I shared with you last week here on the podcast, and I was thinking about what is going to be the one thing that I want to accomplish next year, that I want to do next year, that is aligned with my values and my long term goals and my vision. What is that one thing? I always want to have one thing that when I think about that year, I remember the year because of that one thing. It can be more than one thing, but sometimes is an experience. Like last year was going for Disney with my kids for the first time. And the one goal was publishing a book. So for 2024, I am really thinking, what is going to be that thing that at the end of 2024, I'm going to look back and I'm like, this was an amazing year because I experienced this and I accomplished this. And this partnership with Growth Day and hosting these growth groups throughout the year is that one thing, is going to be that one thing for me in 2024. So I am super excited because, as I said, I've been using this platform for many years and it has been pivotal in my own personal growth. And I'm so happy to be able to share this with you and go through it with you inside these growth groups. And not only you and I, but there's going to be many other people, even outside our own Leading Yourself groups that you can participate on. Like there's a lot of different groups that you can join based on where you are located in the world, because this platform is available in all countries all around the world, or it could be based on a topic that you're really passionate about. There's so many options on how you can get in community, in a growth community. So that is another thing that I wanted to talk about because, I think a lot of people are giving up on the year, and we can really leverage this last stretch of the year to create momentum around our personal growth. And there is this quote from Tony Robbins that I think a lot about, and I have always top of mind whenever I make a decision or set a goal for myself. And that is, and again, I'm going to butcher it. I should have Googled it before I started recording the podcast, but it says something like never leave the scene of a decision while you are in state without taking specific action towards making it a reality. And at the end, what this quote means is that when you are excited about a decision or a goal, that is the time to lock it in with action, taking a really an action that is going to commit you to that goal or that decision. So in this case, if you say, you know what, I also want to make my own personal growth a priority for 2024, signing up to Growth Day using one of those links in the show notes of this podcast episode can be that action that locks it in for you. Now you are elevating your commitment. And not only that, but you're setting yourself for success in achieving that goal that you're setting for yourself by signing up. So I really hope that you join me. I'm super excited about this. As I said, this is going to be the one highlight of 2024. I already can see it. And I've been using this platform for many years, and it's been life changing for me. And I'm super excited that I now get to share it with you as well. And not only share the platform because I have recommended this platform to many people since I started using it, but that now we can connect inside the platform and have these conversations. I'm really, really excited about that. Now, let's continue our conversation. I have one more thing I want to share with you about embracing personal growth in this last stretch of the year, and that is focusing on small wins. One of the reasons I believe, anyways, that people give up on their goals or their personal growth at this point of the year is because they look at how many days are left in the year and they're like, there's no way I'm going to finish this thing. I'm going to do these things before the year ends. And that might be true, but here's the thing. You are going to have the opportunity to continue to work on this beyond December 31st. December 31st is not the end of the world, but you can break down your goals into manageable chunks that you can actually accomplish before the year ends. And then you get to celebrate those small wins along the way. And by acknowledging and celebrating that progress that you made and the fact that you went for it, that you did spend the time, that you did prioritize that thing, whether it's a goal or your own personal growth, that is going to fuel your motivation and is going to keep you on the path of personal growth beyond December 31st and into 2024. So I want to invite you to think about what is one thing that is realistic for you to commit to right now that you can do before the year ends that is going to help you create that momentum. Okay, as we wrap up today's episode on setting yourself up for personal growth in this last stretch of the year, I want to remind you of one thing, and that is that it's never too late to become who you want to be. It's never too late to commit to your personal growth. Your journey is going to continue, and the possibilities are endless. But it's all about taking that first step and making that commitment towards your personal growth that is going to make the difference. So, If you found value in this podcast episode today, I want to invite you to subscribe to the Leading Yourself podcast, to leave us a review. Your feedback keeps our community thriving, and I very much appreciate your support of the podcast. And I really can't wait to connect with you inside the Growth Day platform. So make that decision today. Go to the links. Remember, there's going to be 2 links in there. If you live in the US, in Canada, or in the UK, you can use the first link. That is going to give you direct access to all the bonuses. If you live in any other country, I have heard that link is not working, so I have an alternative link for you. But as I said, I can't wait to see you inside of the platform and together focus on our personal growth in 2024. Until next time, keep growing, keep evolving, keep embracing your journey. I'll see you next week for another episode of the Leading Yourself podcast.